Hi, I'm Lizzie from Baecrochett, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this Primrose Peplum top. It was highly requested for quite some time, so here it is. The written pattern is linked below. You can find it on my website at baecrochett.com or on Ravelry or on my new Patreon shop. I actually just started my Patreon recently, and it's really something close to my heart. It's where I share early access to my tutorials, discounts, free patterns, behind the scenes moments, and just a more personal side of my creative process. I'd love for you to be part of it. Before we start, I just want to give a huge thank you to my first YouTube members, Amanda Achen and Maria Amara. You guys got the early access to this video, and I'm honestly so grateful for your support. If you'd like to see my tutorials early too and help me keep creating, you can join my channel membership on YouTube. Thank you. Okay, so for this tutorial you will need yarn of your choice. I'm using this Canon yarn. I believe it's bamboo yarn. It's very similar to the True Boo Lion Brand yarn. This is a weight 3 light yarn. I would recommend a soft yarn for this project with a nice drape. Yeah, so you will need yarn of your choice, a measuring tape, scissors, darning needle, 3.5mm hook, and some stitch markers. Okay, so first we're going to create a magic ring, and we're going to be working on the cups. So to make your magic ring, you're going to wrap your yarn around your finger like this, go under this loop, then grab the next loop, pull up, hold everything in place. It's still kind of hard for me. Then make a chain and tighten this. So this is your magic ring. You can now pull this. I'll leave it open for a while I work into it. Now we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. This chain 2 counts as a half double crochet, and now we're going to make 13 more half double crochets into this magic ring. Half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and continue until you have 13 into the ring. 13 half double crochets. Okay, so I did 13, and there's a total of 14 including the chain 2 at the beginning. So now I'm just going to pull this to tighten, and now I'm going to slip stitch into the chain 2 at the top right here from the beginning, the first half double crochet. So that's a total of 14 half double crochets including the chain 2 at the beginning. Now I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to create a puff stitch into the first stitch, which is this one right here. And to make a puff stitch, we're going to grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, go into the same stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, go into the same stitch, yarn over, go into the same stitch, pull through. Now we have 3 yarn overs. So we're going to grab the yarn, pull through all, chain 1. Now we're going to do this for each stitch. So yarn over, three times, pull through all, chain. Again, make a puff stitch, pull through all, chain stitch. So we're going to continue doing this, making a puff stitch into each stitch separated by a chain 1 at the end. Okay, so I'll leave you to do the rest and I'll meet you back at the end here. Okay, so I reached back to the end here and we should have a total of 14 puff stitches. So I have 13 so far and I just have one left to make into the very last stitch. Chain 1 and slip stitch into the top of the first one that you made. So that's the end of this row. You can pull this tighter. Okay, so for the next row, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to go into the next chain 1 space right here. You could kind of pull it back to see better, and you're going to make 3 single crochets into that space. Now you're going to look for the next space, chain 1 space, and make 3 single crochets into that space too. So we're going to continue making 3 single crochets into each chain 1 space. Okay, so I'll leave you to do that all around and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I went all the way around and back to the beginning, and I just have one more chain 1 space at the end here to go into. Make 3 single crochets. And slip stitch into the first single crochet from the beginning of the round. So this is what your work should look like so far. Okay, now you're going to chain 2. This counts as a double crochet. So we're going to double crochet into the next 6 stitches. 1, and 6. So there's a total of 7 double crochets including this chain 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And into the 8th stitch we're going to make 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochet, all into that 8th stitch. So this one, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 more double crochets into that same stitch, 1 and 2. So that's 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, all into that 8th stitch. Now we're going to double crochet into the next 14 stitches. So that's 1, 14. So that's 14 stitches there. Now into the 15th stitch we're going to make 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 1, 2 more double crochets into the same stitch. Now we're going to double crochet into the next 11 stitches. 1, and 11. So make sure there's 11 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now we're going to make 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2, chain 1, 2 more double crochets into that same stitch. Now double crochet into the last 7 stitches until the end. 1, 7. Okay, so at the end you're gonna slip stitch into this double crochet from the beginning, not the chain 2 space, just like this. Just because I find the top of it lays more on top of the chain 2. This is what your work should look like with 1, 2, 3 points now. For the next round, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. This counts as a back post double crochet. Now we're going to front post double crochet around the next stitch, which is the same stitch that we went into, not the chain 2 space. So to front post double crochet, we're going to go behind and around that stitch. Grab the yarn, pull up a loop, grab the yarn again, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops. Now I'm going to go from the back to make a back post double crochet and around the front, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops. So this is your back post double crochet. So this first one acts as a back post double crochet. This is a front post double crochet, then a back post. Now we're going to make a front post double crochet around the next stitch. And then a back post around the next stitch. And we're going to continue just like this, alternating between front post and back post double crochets until we reach the chain 1 space at the tip. This is the first double crochet of the 2, and this is the second double crochet. Now into the chain 1 space, we're going to make a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the chain 1 space. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into that chain 1 space. Now we're going to take a look at our work. So the last stitch before we made our double crochet, chain 1, double crochet was a back post double crochet. So we want this side to look the same as this side. So to do so, we're going to make a back post double crochet into the next stitch so it matches this back post double crochet on this side. Then we're going to make a front post, matches the next front post. Okay, so we want to make sure that both sides mirror each other. So we're going to make a back post, double crochet into the next stitch, then a front post, and then a back post into the next stitch, and then a front post. So we're going to continue alternating between front post and back post double crochets all the way until we reach this chain 1 space, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just reached around to this side and I have these 2 double crochets to work into. I just ended off with a front post double crochet. Now I'm going to do a back post double crochet around the next stitch, and then a front post double crochet around the next stitch. And we're going to do it just like we did this corner. We're going to make double crochet, chain 1, double crochet all into this chain 1 space. And the last stitch we made before this double crochet, chain 1, double crochet was a front post double crochet this time. So we're going to make a front post double crochet around the next stitch so that it mirrors the opposite side. Okay, Now a back post double crochet into the next stitch, and then front post double crochet into the next stitch, and then back post. And we're going to continue alternating between front post and back post double crochets until we reach this corner, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I reached back to this corner. I just ended off with a front post double crochet. Now I have a back post double crochet, then a front post double crochet, and now we have reached the chain one space. And just like before, we're going to make double crochet, chain one, double crochet into that chain one space. Since the last stitch before this chain double crochet, chain one, double crochet was a front post double crochet, we're going to make a front post double crochet around the next stitch. And then a back post double crochet around the next stitch, and then a front post double crochet around the next stitch, and we're going to continue alternating like that until we reach the beginning of the round. Okay, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so we reach back to the beginning. I just did a back post double crochet here, and then the last stitch would be a front post double crochet around this stitch. And remember we said at the beginning, this chain two space counts as a back post double crochet. So we're going to slip stitch into the front post double crochet stitch right after it, okay, which is right here, not into the chain two space, since the top of this acts like the top of the back post double crochet or chain two space. Okay, so this is the end of this round. So the next row is going to be a bit similar, but let me show you. So we're going to chain two. This counts as a back post double crochet. So we're going to front post double crochet around the next front post double crochet, which is this one. Then back post double crochet around the next back post double crochet. Then front post double crochet around the next front post double crochet, and we're going to continue just like this, making sure that all back post double crochets go on top of a back post double crochet, and all front post double crochets go on top of a next front post double crochet. So we're going to continue just like that until we reach the tip, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just ended off with a front post double crochet, and now I have a back post double crochet here to work around. And now into the double crochet space at the tip here. So there's a double crochet, chain one, double crochet. We're going to make a front post double crochet around that first double crochet, and then into the chain one space we're going to make double crochet, chain one, double crochet, all into that chain one space. And remember, we're going to make the same stitch right before the double crochet, chain one, double crochet. We're going to make a front post double crochet around the next stitch so that it matches. Okay, now we're going to back post double crochet around the next back post double crochet, front post double crochet around the next front post double crochet, back post double crochet around the next back post double crochet, and we're going to continue alternating just like this between front post double crochets and back post double crochets all the way until we reach the next chain one space. Okay, so I just reached back to this corner. I just did a front post double crochet, and now I have to do a back post double crochet around that first double crochet stitch at the corner. Now into the chain one space we're going to make double crochet, chain one, double crochet. And now we have to look at the last stitch that was made before this double crochet, chain one, double crochet. It was a back post double crochet. So we're going to make a back post double crochet around this next back post double crochet, and then a front post double crochet around the next front post double crochet, a back post double crochet around the next back post double crochet, front post double crochet around the next front post double crochet, and we're just going to continue alternating just like this until we reach the next corner, and I'll leave you to do the rest until we reach the tip. Okay, we're going to do the same thing we did here onto this corner. Okay, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I reached back to the beginning and I just did a front post double crochet around this last front post double crochet, and remember this chain 2 counts as a back post double crochet. So we're gonna go into the next front post double crochet and we're gonna slip stitch on the top there, and this top acts as the top of the chain 2 space. So that's the end of this round. This is what your work should look like so far. Now I'm gonna leave you to do the next rows because it's just a repeat, and it may either change up at the corners depending on if you end off with a front post double crochet or a back post double crochet. But I want you to keep in mind that there should be no front post double crochets next to another front post double crochet, and no back post double crochets next to another back post double crochet. So that means that it's always a front post double crochet next to another back post double crochet, and vice versa. Okay, so yeah, I'll leave you to do the rest of the rounds until you reach your desired length for your cups. So you'll put it against your chest to measure to make sure that you like how much coverage it has. So yeah, I'll leave you to do the rest and I'll meet you back. Hi, it's me from the future. I just wanted to pop in to ask you if you're enjoying this tutorial, and if you are, then it would mean so much to me if you could like, comment, and subscribe. This helps me to reach more creators like you, and it also helps me to keep creating more free tutorials for you in the future. Thank you so much. Bye. Back to the video. I just went ahead and finished my second cup, and you're just going to cut and fasten off the yarn at the end of your work on both cups. Once you've reached your desired length and coverage for your cup, let's take a look at our work now. So we want to make sure that our work is the same amount of rows for each cup, and also take a look at your work and notice how this end and this end is shorter than these two ends here. An easy way to pinpoint this is to look at the petals of your work. So at the bottom here, you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters for the bottom area. Same thing for this side, 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters for the bottom area. While there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 for the sides, the both sides. Okay, so this is how we want our cups to be on our body, but we're going to make a border around these cups. So we're going to turn our work this way because we're going to start from this corner to this corner, around to the middle, back up and around to the end. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to work from here all across to here. So we're going to grab our yarn, make a slip knot. Okay, so you want to make sure that your work is placed on the right side. This is the wrong side and this is the right side. And we're going to place them just how I have it here, upside down, with the tips of the cup facing you. So we're going to make a single crochet border, but we're going to use front post single crochets and back post single crochets. We're going to make a standing single crochet into the exact corner here. Just place your hook through the chain 1 space, grab your yarn, pull up a loop, grab the yarn again, pull through 2 loops. This is called a standing single crochet. Okay, so I'm going to work a back post single crochet around this first stitch since it should be a back post single crochet. And a back post single crochet is very similar to a back post double crochet, but it's just a single crochet. And you want to make sure these stitches are a bit tighter than usual. So you're going to pull tight for every stitch. Now I'm going to make a front post single crochet around the next front post double crochet, pull tight. Back post single crochet around the next back post double crochet, pull tight. Front post single crochet around the next front post double crochet, pull tight. Back post single crochet around the next back post double crochet, pull tight. Continue like this all the way to the end here, and I'll meet you back once we reach the middle here to connect. Okay, so I reached to this end, I went all the way to here, and I just made a front post single crochet into this front post double crochet, and now I'm going to make a back post single crochet into the next double crochet, and then once more into the chain 1 space, make a single crochet, and then you're going to grab the next cup, place your hook into the chain 1 space at this corner, and we're going to make a single crochet. Now I'm going to do a back post single crochet around the next double crochet, and then a front post single crochet around the next front post double crochet, pull tight, back post single crochet around the next back post double crochet, front post single crochet around the next front post double crochet. So we're going to continue just like this all the way to this corner, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I reached back to this corner. I just made a front post single crochet into this last stitch, and now I'm going to make a back post single crochet into the next double crochet, then make a single crochet into the chain 1 space. Now we're going to work around to the tip, then back down. Okay, so I'm going to turn my work this way, and I'm going to make a back post single crochet around the next double crochet, and then a front post single crochet around the next front post double crochet, back post single crochet around the next back post double crochet, front post single crochet around the next front post single crochet. Now we're going to continue just like this all the way to the tip. Make 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space at the tip, and then back down. I'll meet you back once we reach here. Okay, so I reached down to this corner. I went all the way around to this corner, and in the middle here I just did this front post single crochet into this front post double crochet, and now I'm going to make a back post single crochet into the next double crochet, and now I'm going to make a single crochet around this whole stitch right here, 1 single crochet. And now I can work onto the next side here, a back post single crochet around this double crochet, and then a front post single crochet around the next front post double crochet, so you're going to continue all the way up and around to the end, just like how we did this side, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I reached back around to this end. I went all the way up back to this end. We're just going to slip stitch. I just made my last back post single crochet into the last double crochet at the corner here, and I'm just going to slip stitch into the standing single crochet that we made at the beginning. Slip stitch, and now we can cut and fasten off. So this is what your work should look like so far. As you can see, the cups kind of are able to form to your body a bit better now. So let's put this aside in the meantime while we work on the bottom pieces. Okay, so now we're going to make the bottom panel. And to make your bottom panel, we're going to start off by measuring around the rib cage. I'll show a little snippet here of how to do that. And you're going to take note of your measurement. Okay, mine was 26 inches. So from here, we're going to minus 4 inches so that we can allow for an open space at the back. So I'm going to take my 26 inches from my measurement minus 4, which is 22 inches. So you're going to keep that in mind right now. So now we're going to chain an amount that corresponds to our measurement. So we're going to chain an amount that matches our measurement. Okay, but we also want to make sure that this number of chains is also a multiple of 6. And a multiple of 6 means that it's a number that is divisible by 6. Okay, so I wrote down some multiples of 6 to give you an idea. So some are 90, 102, 108, and so on. So let's do that, okay? So we're starting off with our bottom panel, and I'm going to chain an amount and count as I go. Okay, so first I'm going to start off with 90 and see if it matches 22 inches. Okay, so continue chaining and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll leave you to chain yours and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I went ahead and made a chain, and I went with 96 chains. I also forgot out that number by accident. I found that 96 is the closest to my measurement. You're going to chain the multiple that is closest to your measurement. So I'm going to stick with 96 and we can move on from here. After you've got your multiple of 6, you're going to add 2 more chains at the end. 1, 2. Okay, so mine was 96 plus 2. Now I'm going to double crochet into the third chain from the hook. 1, 2, and the third chain. Now I'm going to double crochet into each stitch until the end of the row. Okay, so continue double crocheting into each stitch. So you're going to continue just like this all the way until you reach the end, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I went ahead and double crocheted into each stitch all the way to the end. Okay, at the end I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. Now I'm going to single crochet into the first stitch. The chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. Single crochet into the next stitch and single crochet into each and every stitch all the way until we reach the end. Okay, so you're going to single crochet into each stitch all the way to the end, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished my row of single crochet, my second row. At the end of this row, you want to make sure that you don't go into that chain 2 space, because that chain 2 at the beginning here, 1, 2, that does not count as a stitch. Now we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This counts as a treble crochet and a chain 2. Now we're going to turn our work, and now we're going to treble crochet 2 together into the first stitch. So not this stitch that we just came out of, this stitch. Okay, treble crochet 2 together, and to treble crochet 2 together, we're going to yarn over 2 times, go into that space, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, like you're going to make a treble crochet, but you're not going to finish it just yet. So we're going to keep these 2 loops on the hook. Now we're going to yarn over 2 times like we're going to make another treble crochet. Push your hook through, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, and now you have 2 treble crochets almost finished. Now you're going to grab the yarn and pull through all 3 loops. So that's a treble crochet 2 together, since there's only 1 space at the top here. It's not 2 separate stitches, it's 1 stitch. Okay, now we're going to skip 4 stitches and treble crochet into the 5th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Treble crochet 2 together into the 5th stitch, just like before. Yeah, now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to treble crochet 2 together into the next stitch right here. 1 and 2. Okay, now we're going to skip 4 stitches and treble crochet 2 together into the 5th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Treble crochet 2 together into the 5th stitch. Okay, so we're going to repeat that. So the repeat starts from this right after this treble crochet 2 together. So this is the repeat, the chain 4, treble crochet 2 together into the next stitch, skip 4 stitches, treble crochet 2 together into the 5th stitch, and then chain 4 again and repeat over and over. Okay, so I'll leave you to do the rest until you reach the end of the row, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just reached back down to the end of this row. I went all the way there. I ended off with my last treble crochet 2 together, and now I'm going to chain 2 and treble crochet into the very last stitch at the end. Okay, that's what the end should look like, and it should be similar to the beginning of the row. So make sure that the beginning of the row and the end of the row are the same moving forward. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. Now we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first treble crochet 2 together, so right here. Slip stitch into the top of the next treble crochet 2 together, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the top of the next treble crochet 2 together, slip stitch into the next treble crochet 2 together, stitch, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the top of the next treble crochet 2 together, and also the next one. So we're going to repeat this with your slip stitches and chain 4s all the way until you reach the end of the row, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just reached back down to the end here. I just slip stitched into the last double crochet 2 together right here, and now I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3 chains and slip stitch into that chain. Now I'm going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This counts as a treble crochet, and you're going to turn your work. Now we're going to treble crochet 2 together into the first slip stitch we made, which is right here. Now it might be a little hard to get into the stitches, but you can play around to see. So treble crochet 2 together into the first slip stitch, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, treble crochet two together into the next slip stitch, which was right next to this one. Treble crochet two together into the next slip stitch, which is this one. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Treble crochet two together into the next slip stitch, which is right next to that one. So we're going to repeat this from right here. Right after this, treble crochet two together. We're going to treble crochet two together into the next slip stitch, chain 4, treble crochet two together into the next slip stitch, and so on and so forth. So I'll leave you to do the rest all the way to the end of the row, and I'll meet you back, okay? Okay, so I just went all the way to the end of the row, and at the end, remember, we want to make sure it looks like the beginning of the row as well. So I just ended off with my last treble crochet two together into the last slip stitch here. And now we're just going to treble crochet into the top of the treble crochet right here at the end, okay? So anywhere there. So this is how the end should look like, and this is how the beginning should look like. So very similar. Now I'm going to chain 1, turn my work. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're skipping this first stitch here at the end. And we're going to single crochet into the top of this next treble crochet two together. Now we're going to single crochet 4 times into the chain 4 space. Single crochet into the top of this treble crochet two together. Single crochet into the top of the next treble crochet two together, then single crochet 4 times into the next chain 4 space. So we're going to repeat that all the way until we reach the end of the row, and I'll leave you to do the rest all the way until we reach the end, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I just finished my single crochet row, and at the end, remember, we want to make sure that the end is the same as the beginning. So I just finished my last 4 single crochets into the chain 4 space, and the last stitch would be a single crochet into the last treble crochet two together, which is right here. And that's it for this row. No more stitches. So the end, 1 single crochet at the end and 1 single crochet at the beginning as well, okay? Now for the next row, we're going to chain 2, which counts as a double crochet. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to double crochet into each stitch all the way until we reach the end of the row. So double crochet all the way until the end of the row, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished the end of my double crochet row, and at the end I'm going to double crochet into the very last stitch, which is this single crochet at the very end. So this is what it should look like. And now I want you to take a look at your work, and here at this point would be a very good time to count your stitches. So you want to count your double crochets. Make sure that your double crochets on this row is the same amount of double crochets on the first row, okay? Because moving forward, you may have a little trouble if these two rows are not the same, and then we can move on. So now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This counts as a treble crochet and a chain 2. Now turn your work, skip 1 stitch and a treble crochet into the next stitch. So we're skipping this first stitch here and treble crocheting into the next. Chain 2, 1, 2, skip 1 stitch, treble crochet into the next stitch, treble crochet into the same stitch, chain 2, treble crochet 2 times into the next stitch, 1 and 2, chain 2, skip 1 stitch, treble crochet into the next stitch right here, and this is the repeat. So we're going to repeat from right after this treble crochet here. So the chain 2 would be next. So from this chain 2 onwards, we're going to repeat over and over until the end of the row. So I'll leave you to do the rest and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished this row and this is what it should look like all the way through. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm kind of pulling it apart so you can see it better. I just did my 2 treble crochets into 1 stitch at the end, and now I'm going to chain 2 and treble crochet into the next stitch, skipping 1 stitch, chain 2 again, skip 1 stitch, treble crochet into the very last stitch, which is that chain 2 space. So right here. So this is what the end should look like, and this is what the beginning should look like. So the same, make sure the beginning and the end are the same. Now I'm going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn my work. This chain 5 counts as a treble crochet and a chain 2. Now we're going to treble crochet once into the first treble crochet, which is this one, chain 2, 1, 2, treble crochet into the next treble crochet, which is right here, treble crochet into the next treble crochet right here, chain 2, 1, 2, treble crochet 2 times into the next chain 2 space, one and 2, chain 2, treble crochet into the next treble crochet, treble crochet into the next treble crochet, chain 2, and treble crochet into the next treble crochet. So this is what it should look like, and our repeat starts from right after this treble crochet. So we're going to repeat from this chain 2 onwards, over and over until we reach the end of the row. So I'll leave you to do the rest until you reach the end and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished off this row and this is what it should look like. The beginning and end of each row should look the same. So at the end of this row, this is where I left off. So I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, treble crochet into the next treble crochet, chain 2, and treble crochet into the third chain. So 1, 2, 3. And that's the end of this row. Okay, so now we're going to chain 5, 3, 4, 5. And this counts as a treble crochet and chain 2. And we're going to turn our work. And we're going to skip the first treble crochet here and treble crochet into the next treble crochet. So we're skipping this one, treble crochet into the next treble crochet, treble crochet into the next treble crochet again, chain 2, and then we're going to treble crochet into the next treble crochet 2 times. So this one twice, 1 and 2, chain 2, treble crochet into the next treble crochet 2 times, this one, 1 and 2. Now we're going to chain 2, treble crochet into the next treble crochet, this one, treble crochet into the next treble crochet again, then we're going to chain 2, skip this treble crochet and treble crochet into the next treble crochet, treble crochet into the next treble crochet again. And now we can look at our work to see the repeat. Okay, so the repeat starts from right here, right where these 2 treble crochets are, right after this. So we're going to repeat the chain 2 and so on over and over until we reach the end of the row. So I'll leave you to do the rest all the way to the end and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished off this row. This is what it should look like. I just did my last 2 treble crochets here. So I'm going to chain 2, skip this stitch, treble crochet into the third stitch, third chain, 1, 2, and 3. So it's the same as the beginning of the row. Okay. Now we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This counts as a treble crochet and chain 2. Now we're going to turn our work and we're going to treble crochet into the first chain 2 space, which is right here. Okay. Now we're going to chain 2 and we're going to skip these 2 treble crochets and treble crochet into the next treble crochet. Treble crochet into the next treble crochet again. Now we're going to chain 2 and we're going to treble crochet 2 times into the next chain 2 space. Now we're going to chain 2, treble crochet into the next treble crochet, treble crochet into the next treble crochet again. Now we're going to chain 2, skip this treble crochet section, and treble crochet into the next chain 2 space. So we're skipping this whole section and treble crocheting into the next chain 2 space. So this is what it should look like so far. And the repeat starts from right here, right after this first treble crochet here. So we're going to repeat from this chain 2 onwards, over and over until we reach the end of the row, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished off this. I just reached by this chain 2 at the end, and at the end we're going to treble crochet into this space. We're skipping this whole section, treble crochet into this space, chain 2 again, and then treble crochet into the third chain at the very end. And that's how the end of this row should look. And remember, the beginning should look like the end. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and we're going to take a look at our work. So we're going to be repeating rows 10 and 11 until we reach our desired length. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to do that, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished my rows. This is what it should look like all throughout. Yes, I would suggest to end off on row 10, which is this row, and not this one with the one treble crochet here, with the one treble crochet. So end off on a row 10 repeat, and we can move on. And now we're going to make an edging for the bottom edge, and to do so we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to single crochet 2 times into the first chain 2 space. Now we're going to single crochet 2 times into the next treble crochet space, 1 and 2. Now we're going to chain 4 and make a picot. And to do so, you're just going to chain 4 and slip stitch into the top of that single crochet that we came out of. Okay, now single crochet 2 times into the next treble crochet, single crochet 2 times into the next chain 2 space, and for each treble crochet we're going to make 2 single crochets, make a picot, then 2 single crochets again. So I'll leave you to do the rest all the way down until the end of the row. Okay, so I just finished off my single crochets and picots, and this is what it should look like all throughout. And at the end you should end off with 2 single crochets into this space, and then 1 more single crochet at the end into the third chain. Okay, and now we can cut and fasten off our yarn. Okay, so now we're going to be attaching our cups to our bottom panel. So to do so, remember which way your cups are supposed to sit. Remember what I said before with the 4 stitches down here. This side is shorter than these 2 sides. So you have to remember that while working. So this is the way the cups are supposed to be placed. But I want you to put your work all on the wrong side. So we're going to turn this around and get some stitch markers, and we're going to place our bottom panel on the wrong side as well. We're going to be attaching on the wrong side. So we're going to determine where is the exact middle of our bottom panel. So you can fold your work like this to see where it ends up, and mine is somewhere in the middle here. So I'm going to choose that exact middle of this flower. So the stitch where this flower sits in the exact middle. So I'm going to choose this stitch. Okay, so that's the exact middle. So you want to count your stitches at the bottom of this cup, the end of this corner to the middle here. Okay, so I counted 28 stitches. So now I'm going to count 28 stitches from the middle here. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 28. And I'm going to place a stitch marker there and attach it to the corner of this cup. And you can do the exact same thing for this side. So count your stitches and place your stitch markers evenly, okay? Okay, so I went ahead and attached all three to my cups, so it's attached there. And now we're going to make single crochets while also catching both of these stitches on the bottom panel and the top. So we're going to make a slip knot. And we're starting from this side all the way to this side. So I'm placing my hook into that first stitch on this side and also placing my hook into the corner of this cup. And I'm simply just going to make single crochets all the way down, okay, into each stitch. Next stitch, and then grabbing the next stitch on the cup, single crochet. And I'm kind of holding my work like this so that I can see better. So you're going to continue single crocheting into each stitch all the way until you reach the end, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so now we're going to take our measuring tape and we're going to measure around. I'll show you a picture here exactly how to measure. And we're going to measure from the front, from where the cup starts to around your shoulder and under your shoulder blade. Okay, so that's the measurements we're going to take. Mine was about 14 inches. So now we're going to take note of that measurement because we're going to need this measurement for both of our straps. Okay, so we're going to make a half double crochet foundation row with a multiple of 6. So we're going to keep making stitches until we reach our measurement. So I'm going to make a foundation row and count my stitches until I reach 14 inches. So to make your foundation row, you're going to chain 2. This is a double crochet foundation row, and we're going to go into the first stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, bring up a loop. So this first loop here, we want it to be a bit loose so that we can work into it in the next stitch. Try to make that first loop a little loose. So don't keep it like tight like this. Keep it a little loose. So we're going to grab the yarn again, pull through that one loop, grab the yarn again, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn again, pull through 2 loops again. So that's our first double crochet of our double crochet foundation row. So we're going to do that again, but we're going to go into this first loop. So we're going into this loop, but we're also catching that loop in the back as well. Grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through 1 loop, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops again. We're going to do that again. So this is what you call a double crochet foundation row. Okay, so we're going to keep doing this until we reach our measurement, and mine was 14 inches. And we're going to count how many stitches we have and make sure it is a multiple of 6. Okay, So I'll leave you to do the rest and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished up mine. I reached up to 60 stitches. I chose to go with 60 because that's closest to my measurements, which was 14. After you've got your multiple of 6 down, we're gonna make one extra stitch at the end. Now I'm gonna chain 1, turn my work, and we're gonna single crochet into each stitch all the way down. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you to single crochet into each stitch all the way until the end of your row. Okay, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just did my single crochet row and I reach back down to the end, and as you can see here, there's the chain 2. We're not working into this chain 2 space. We're just gonna work into that last stitch. Now we're gonna chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and turn our work. Now I'm going to treble crochet 2 together into the first stitch, the same stitch, then skip 4 stitches and work into the 5th stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and treble crochet 2 together into the 5th stitch. Just like how we did the waistband, we're going to do the straps very similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 4, treble crochet into the next stitch, treble crochet 2 together into the next stitch, treble crochet 2 together into the 5th stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to continue just like this all the way until we reach the end of the row. Okay, so I'll leave you to do the rest and I'll meet you back. All the way to the end, I'll meet you back. Okay, so I reached back down to the end, and at the end I ended off with my last treble crochet 2 together. Now I'm going to chain 2 and treble crochet into the very last stitch. Now I'm going to chain 2 and slip stitch into the first treble crochet 2 together, slip stitch into the next treble crochet 2 together, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the next treble crochet 2 together, slip stitch into the next treble crochet 2 together, chain 4, and repeat that all the way until you reach the end of the row, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I reach back down to the end and I just made my last slip stitch into the top of the last treble crochet. Now I'm going to chain 2, slip stitch into 1, 2, the second chain, now I'm going to chain 3, turn my work, and I'm going to treble crochet 2 together into the first slip stitch, chain 4, treble crochet 2 together into the next slip stitch, treble crochet 2 together into the next slip stitch, chain 4, treble crochet 2 together into the next slip stitch, and we're going to repeat that all the way until we reach the end, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I reached back down to the end, and at the end I just made my last treble crochet 2 together, and now we're just going to treble crochet into the last stitch, but it's kind of hard to see the last stitch, so you can try your best to go into anywhere at the corner there. Okay, now I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, single crochet into the top of the first treble crochet 2 together, single crochet 4 times into the chain 4 space, single crochet into the next treble crochet 2 together, single crochet into the next treble crochet 2 together, and you're going to continue that, repeating that all the way until you reach the end of the row, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just reached back to the end of the row, and I just worked 4 single crochets into the last chain 4 space, and now I'm just going to single crochet once into the top of the last treble crochet 2 together. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2, this counts as a stitch, and now we're going to double crochet into each stitch all the way until we reach the end of the row. Okay, so double crochet into each stitch all the way until you reach the end of the row, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I reached back down to the end, and I just made my last double crochet, and into the very last stitch I'm gonna make my last double crochet, and now we're gonna turn our work to this side, so we're gonna work single crochets along this edge. Okay, so I'm gonna chain 1 and single crochet into that same stitch at the top of this double crochet, single crochet into the side of this double crochet, anywhere there. We're gonna try our best to make these stitches as even as we can. Okay, so in total we want to have 13 single crochets all along this edge, so we have 2 so far. Make another single crochet into the side of the single crochet, and now we're going to make 3 single crochets into the side of this treble crochet, 1, 2, and 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far, and in the middle stitch right here we're going to make 1 single crochet, then 3 at the side of this treble crochet, three, then one single crochet into the side of the single crochet, and 2 more at the end here, 1, and the last one into the last stitch. So you want to count these stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Make sure it's 13 stitches with 1 stitch in the middle. So we're gonna put a stitch marker in the exact middle stitch, which is the 7th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 6 stitches, 6 single crochets on each side, with the last one in the middle. So we're not going to cut our yarn just yet. We're going to bring our cup to our work, and we're going to place our cup on the wrong side. So the wrong side is the side where we slip stitch this section here, And now we're going to make sure that we are on the wrong side as well on the straps. We're going to place a stitch marker in the exact middle right here, middle stitch at the end here. We're going to count 6 stitches, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and we're going to start from here, from this 6th stitch. Okay, so we want to make sure that this stitch matches up with this stitch. So we're going to chain 1, and I'm going to hold my work like this because we're going to attach it together with single crochets. So I'm just going to turn my work around just so it's easier for me to work into these stitches. And now I'm going to go into the first stitch here and then go into the first stitch on the cup, which is right here where I put my stitch marker. I'm going to grab the yarn and a single crochet, go into the next stitch, go into the next stitch on the cup, grab the yarn, single crochet, and we're going to continue just like this until we finished attaching the strap. And we're going to make sure that the middle stitch on the cup right here matches up to the middle stitch on the strap. So we can take this out. And into the very last stitch. And now we can cut and fasten off our yarn. Okay, so this is what it should look like on the wrong side and on the right side. So you're going to do the same exact thing for your second strap. Attach it the same way, just like this. Okay. And now we're going to move on to attaching the bottom parts here to here. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing to the other end of our straps. Okay, so this is one of our straps, and we're going to attach our yarn, make a slip knot, and we're going to make 13 stitches along this edge. So just like before, I'll leave you to do that and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I went ahead and I made 13 stitches all along here, and now we're going to want to place our work on the wrong side. We're going to turn our strap and attach it to this edge, okay, in the same manner that we did this. So we're going to count our stitches from here to here.
So I'm counting 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12
13. So this stitch, so this is the first stitch we will work into. So I'm going to chain 1, and remember we want it to lay like this, so we're going to work on the wrong side. So this is the right side, this is the wrong side. So we're going to have to kind of hold our work a little strangely. Go into the first stitch and then the first stitch on the bottom panel where we placed our stitch marker, and a single crochet, and we're going to single crochet all along. Okay, so I'll leave you to do the rest all the way and I'll meet you back. So I just single crocheted into each one of these stitches, and now you can cut and fasten off. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, okay? So I'll leave you to do this side and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished attaching, and this is how it should look once you turn it like that. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to place our work on the right side. Make sure it's the right side, And we're going to work from here, this corner of this strap, at the end of this strap, all the way up, up and around to the middle, up and around to the next strap, and back to this side. We're going to make a single crochet and picot border around. So let's do that. So we're going to make a slip knot and attach your yarn at the corner here, anywhere at the corner where your strap starts. And I'm going to make a standing single crochet, and we're going to single crochet into each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 5th stitch we're going to make a picot, a 4 chain picot. So you're going to chain 4 and then slip stitch into the same stitch. Now we're going to make 5 more single crochets into the next 5 stitches.
1, 2, 3, 4.
5, then make a 4 chain picot. Okay, so we're going to go like this all the way up and around to your cups, all the way down, and I'll meet you back once we reach here. Okay, so I went all the way around to the middle here with the picots and the single crochets. So now that I reached to the middle here, I just made my last 4 single crochets. So we want to make sure that the stitches on this side mirror the stitches on this side. So we want them to match up. Okay, so depending on how many stitches you have left, you're going to make the same number of single crochets before your picot. So I have 4 single crochets here in the middle, so I'm going to make 4 single crochets on the other side, and then make my picot with 4 chains. And then continue on making your single crochets. 1, 2. So you see how they match up in the same spots so that both sides mirror each other. That's what you want. Okay, so I'll leave you to do the rest on the other side all the way to the end here, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I went back all the way up and around to the end here on both sides, and now we have to do the inner corners. Okay, so we're gonna start from one end here and then go all the way up and around to this side. Same thing for this side, just like we did before. Okay, so I'll leave you to do that and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just finished up the inner corners. This is what it looks like. Okay, so you're gonna make a slip knot with a long end at the back here. Leave a long end. Chain 2. Turn our work to the back and work into this back loop here. And we're gonna make a single crochet, and now we're gonna work into this loop and this loop. 1, 2. Grab the yarn and make a single crochet. Okay, now we're gonna work into this loop and this loop. 1 and 2. Grab the yarn and single crochet. Now we're going to keep doing this, turning our work a bit like this and going into these 2 back loops. grab the yarn, single crochet. So I'm going to leave you to make a long cord and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I just made mine. I made mine about 21 inches long. So what I want you to do is make 4 of these with the same length. So at the end, we're just going to slip stitch. And we can cut and fasten off our yarn. I would suggest to leave a long end. I accidentally did not. That was a mistake. So make your end longer than this, okay? So you're gonna make a total of 4 of these and then we can move on and attach it. Okay, so as you can see, I went ahead and attached mine here to these two ends. Right at the end here, here, here. And my last one, I'm going to attach right here. I'm just gonna attach with the long end. So I attached mine right by this double crochet section here. And I'm going to attach it by the double crochet section right here. Okay, and you can add a bead to the end of these here and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to be adding cowrie shells to the ends of these. Okay, so I'll leave you to do the rest.